Hey educators! Need a new tool to help students embrace texts and reading material? Want to engage all of the learners in your classroom, especially visual learners and techie students? Do your content area reading lessons need some new flair? Have no fear, Team for Tech is here with a Wordle tutorial. During this tutorial, you will learn about Wordle, how it can be useful to you and your students, and how to utilize it in your classroom. What is Wordle? Wordle is a tool that examines the text provided by the user and generates a word cloud from those words. The Web 2.0 program makes more frequently used words larger. Once students create a Wordle, it can be exported as a JPEG image or printed for use in projects and classroom activities. So why Wordle, you ask? Great question. Wordle has both educational and technological benefits for students and teachers. First, Wordle can be used to help develop and improve literacy skills at all levels. Wordle is easy to use, which makes it user-friendly for all ages and any content area. The word clouds created by Wordle provide a great visualization of key concepts and common vocabulary used during lessons. Most importantly, Wordle allows teachers to provide differentiation for visual learners within their classroom. Wordle also allows students to increase self-awareness through analysis of their own writing. Students can become better writers, embracing text in a new way. Use word clouds to create connections. Lastly, Wordle is fun and students think it looks cool. Now that you know why Wordle is important, it's time to create your own Wordle. The following slides will walk you through step-by-step instructions about how to create your very own Wordle. First, go to the website www.wordle.net and then click Create. This screen is where you can add text manually, a blog URL, RSS feed, or a delicious username to see their tags. Manual text ideas include vocabulary words, headings, or you can even copy and paste in any amount of text. There are also a couple of things to note. Spaces denote separate words, so in order to create a 2 or more word phrase, you will have to insert a tilde, the small wavy line, in between each word. Also, any word that appears more than once will show up larger in your Wordle. Once you have chosen the style of your Wordle, you can now change the layout of the text within the creation. Select Layout from the toolbar at the top. From the Layout menu, you can choose horizontal, mostly horizontal, half and half, mostly vertical, and vertical arrangements. From the Wordle menu at the top of the page, you can also change the font displayed in your creation. Click on the font from the toolbar and continue selecting a font style until you find one you would like to use. Or you can take a chance and click Randomize at the bottom of the Wordle. Continue clicking Randomize until you are happy with the creation on the page. But remember that once you click Randomize, you can't ever go back to the one you had previously unless you saved it. Here's a great example using the MSU fight song as text to show how increased word occurrence affects the size of the word within the Wordle. Fight, raw, and MSU are larger than most other words. Once you are satisfied with the creation, you need to save to the Wordle gallery. Click on the Save option at the bottom right corner of your creation. You will be asked to title and name your Wordle. Being that these are saved to a public gallery, I always tell my students not to include their last names for safety purposes. You can also save your Wordle anonymously. If you would like to embed your Wordle on a website, blog, or wiki, you can do so by copying the embed code at the bottom of the page. Once students create their Wordles, they can view other Wordle examples in the public gallery. Click on the Gallery option from the Wordle toolbar to access the gallery. You'll continue to see more examples if you select the older option on the gallery page.
Thank you for watching part 1 of our Wordle tutorial video. If you would like to view examples for various content areas, please continue viewing. If not, enjoy your newfound Wordle skills. Happy Wordling! Welcome to part 2 of Team for Tech's Wordle tutorial video. This section of our tutorial will focus on providing examples and ideas specific to various content areas. In truth, Wordle can be used in any content area. Keep in mind that ideas often can be adapted from one content area or another, so that you may be inspired by activities in any given area. Wordle in the math classroom. First of all, it is important to note that if you want to use numbers in your Wordle, you must click Language on the toolbar after your Wordle is created and unclick the box stating Remove Numbers. Then any numbers on your text will appear. However, math Wordles do not always need numbers. Math Wordles might focus on concepts such as useful vocabulary, information about important mathematicians, or thoughts relating to a particular concept, such as slope, an example of which you will see next. Here is an example of terms related to the mathematical concept of slope. Here you see a student-created example showing key math terms from his geometry course. Notice how prevalent the ideas of area, perimeter, and volume are. There are many uses of Wordle in the history classroom as well. For example, students can analyze important historical speeches and recognize frequently used key terms. Students can also create Wordles from important historical documents such as the Declaration of Independence, the preamble to the Constitution, or the Star-Spangled Banner. Lastly, students might use Wordle to review important events, analyzing the important people involved and/or the causes. Here is an example created by entering our nation's Pledge of Allegiance into Wordle. As you see here, by using Wordle, students are able to isolate only the key vocabulary words. Wordle can also be used in the special education classroom. Advocacy skills can be taught using a Wordle with good and bad words associated with disabilities to spark classroom conversation. This could also be used to have students discuss how different terminology makes them feel and how they feel about their disability in general. Wordle can also allow them to display their feelings in an artistic and unique way that can be easily shared and discussed within the safety of their classroom. This is an example of a Wordle that might be used to start a discussion among students with hearing loss. Note the use of both positive and negative expressions. Another way Wordle can be used relates to special education and language arts, or English. Wordles could be created and added to a word wall, which is a common feature in classrooms for special education and younger students. Different clusters of words can be created on Wordle and made into reference posters, which allow for increased accessibility for all students. As you can see here, the idea with word wall posters is to provide students with useful and common words related to a given letter of the alphabet. Wordle in the world language classroom can allow students to interact with new vocabulary and phrases in a visual manner. Having students type phrases into Wordle also gives them spelling practice and can show a teacher which words are the most problematic for a student at a glance. Also, creating vocabulary lists becomes a more engaging task when students can summarize key phrases using a Wordle word cloud. Students can also increase their interaction with authentic text in the target language by cutting and pasting paragraphs or entire articles into Wordle and getting an instant view of what words and phrases are most commonly used by native speakers. In this student-created example, a word cloud was created by typing in a list of vocabulary from a Spanish unit on family. The main idea of La Familia stands out instantly using Wordle to reveal the key theme. This example was created by copying and pasting an article from a French-Canadian website. Wordle in a life skills or health class could be used for introducing new vocabulary as well, and for having students summarize lengthy non-fiction articles in a quick manner. Wordle could also be useful as a visual teaser to start a classroom discussion on a new unit or concept, and could serve as a fun way to share the daily agenda with the class. Here is an example of a Wordle created by cutting and pasting an introductory health and fitness article. Wordle might also be used for student introductions at the beginning of the school year or term. This is a fun way for students to share about themselves and get to know one another better. An example will follow. Wordle can also be used in any classroom to create posters of key concepts or phrases that students will be learning throughout your course. These can then be mounted on a bulletin board to create a quick, eye-catching, and content-based visual. Wordle can also be a great tool for helping to set classroom norms and expectations. We will go into greater depth about this idea shortly. This Wordle and those that follow are a few examples of student introductions using Wordle. Also, these can aid in memorizing students' names and interests. Wordle can be used to create a poster with expectations for student behavior. You could create a Wordle ahead of time, including your own classroom expectations and key phrases, or you could have a class discussion and type in phrases as students mention them. Here is an example of a classroom expectation Wordle. We hope you enjoyed learning about this fabulous tool, and we wish you and your students the very best as you explore Wordle in your own classroom. Happy Wordling!